Hello, everybody. We're back. We had 2 weeks off for the holidays. We did have shows replayed. We had our first show with uh, what was it? The
Chris August.
and then we had our second show with Bobby Gallo with his. We were talking about spooky stories that we had for Halloween and stuff like that. So we had some people. We didn't leave you guys totally empty for you
It's something to do.
to see us. Hey, just say, hey, come in. Hey, what up? So I want to wish everybody Happy New Year. We're back. I'm back with my lovely ladies here. And how was you guys' holidays? Talking to yous. You. Not
I know.
every-
Go ahead,
Who's
Kim.
the use? Who's the
You.
me's the use?
Like,
You.
who's he talking to? You.
Yous. You guys are looking like
Very
somebody in
good.
the audience could answer me.
We're like, just let him go.
Very good. I drove to Massachusetts. I packed all the dogs in the car. Totally was a bad dog mom, and I forgot to give one of my dogs her motion sickness medication.
Oh.
That's
And
always that.
so I felt like I had like a toddler in the back seat that was vomiting every 40
Oh
minutes.
no.
We had to pull over. It's okay. She's okay. She's all right. But yeah, I felt totally bad. And then so on the way back, I definitely remembered her medication.
Yeah, well,
Oh my
But it was really good
goodness.
time with family.
a
Yeah.
lot to clean up too.
Oh,
That's
nice.
good.
Yes. We lost two
At
dog
least you
beds
can leave
in the
one home
process.
going, oh no. Home alone,
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin
You
home.
left the dogs home? No. Come on.
Oh,
Kim's a
no.
veterinarian. She's not going to leave the dogs home.
She'll leave the kids
Yeah,
home and leave and
But
take
I
the
forgot
dog.
to medicate my own animals. So
No.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I bet you were medicated in Massachusetts
Whoops.
after weekend.
Yeah.
that's
But it was
cool.
great with the
That's
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed you
Jennie,
guys. I
Yeah,
missed
we-
you guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New
I
Year.
did.
Yeah.
I missed you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, all good here. I had a really nice, quiet, lovely holiday. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a nice. Got some toys. Got another night vision camera.
Ooh,
Can't get enough. I got 3 of them for Christmas. Well, really 4.
very nice. Very
Wow.
nice. Well, as long as you didn't get any more of those dolls, we're good.
Yeah.
No, but
Thank God.
come on.
No more twins. No
No.
There
triplets.
is
Not the twins.
Not the
Triplets. I
twins.
don't think we
Where
know
are the
what that's for
twins?
yet.
Do you have the twins? Are they behind you?
The
For anyone
twins
who
are
doesn't
somewhere
know
back there.
who the twins
I'm
are.
redoing my room right now. I'm trying to get room, and I'm gonna have to get. I got a whole room here with equipment,
Yeah.
so I think I got
Yeah.
downside somewhere. So,
No.
all
More
right,
is better.
we got some
Well, I
great
wanted-
guests tonight.
I wanted to hold on. I wanted to say something because last time we were here about 2 weeks ago, I was commenting in the chat and it didn't seem like what I was commenting was going out to everyone. So if your question or comment is not getting answered, or it's because I was text messaging like a fiend. So it was probably something on my end. So if I do message you back, please just somehow acknowledge it just so we know that the chat is working. I'm not quite sure. I actually just put
Okay.
something in and it's not showing up.
Okay.
So
I see
Yeah,
it.
I don't
I
see
see
it.
it. Says,
I
hey
don't either.
everyone, Happy New Year.
oh, you
I
do
it.
see that.
Yeah, I
Gosh,
see it.
because I don't. Okay. All right. Well, I'll just keep going on faith.
Okay.
Hopefully,
If you feel like you're not being answered, let us know.
yeah, we're not
Yeah.
gonna let you.
No, we're not going to leave you
guys. Nobody
hanging.
wants to talk to you.
Especially Kim, because I know a lot of people, she's like our fan favorite.
Mhm.
So people have a lot of questions for her.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of questions
So
about the locations.
Yeah.
this is pretty cool, you guys. It's episode 13.
13.
That's
yeah.
lucky.
I'm born on the
Lucky,
13th.
lucky. That's right.
August
August 13th.
My son's born on February 13th, and my father's born on June 13th. So we got all 13.
Oh my goodness. That
Yeah.
is a lucky number then.
Yeah.
Okay, lucky 13. And we have a really appropriate show for the number 13 tonight. Speaking of things that are lucky. or slash unlucky to some people, but lucky.
Spooky.
Lucky. Do we have a really good show tonight? Are we good to introduce? Are we ready? Anything else?
I'm ready.
You guys
Just
want to go over?
Do it.
go.
All right.
Do your
Tonight-
magic, Jen.
Tonight we have Bill Bryan and Tanya Gilroy from Empty Casket Paranormal and the Empty Casket Talking Board Museum. We all know another word for talking board, a subset of talking boards, excuse me, is Ouija boards, which is a really another favorite subject around here.
Talkie boards.
So we're so
spirit
happy.
boards.
Yeah, spirit boards, talking boards, and they can explain everything. They brought some boards with them tonight, so we're really excited to see those. And they also
The
have
location.
a location, like we always do every week. If you haven't joined us before, we feature a location. We do the history. Kim does a reading on it blindly. We don't tell her. That's why we never put it in the poster what the location is. And Anthony makes everybody laugh as we do it. So so here we go.
I don't try to.
Oh, you're hilarious.
Yeah, but
So
that's the best
without-
part.
It is the best part. He's the best.
Stop.
He's like, don't stop.
Okay.
Stop. Kim always says, stop. Stop.
Stop.
Jen, you want to introduce?
I
I'll
just
guess.
did. So without further ado, let's bring in Bill and Tanya.
Hey guys.
How's it
I
going?
introduced you twice.
Yeah,
Hello. Here.
Why not?
Woo. Yeah.
It's so
twice
good
is
you
better.
got to introduce them twice.
absolutely.
You know?
Thanks for coming. Thanks for being on the show. We
thanks
were
for
so
having
us.
excited for this.
This is cool.
Really, really excited. How are you guys? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Cozy night, cold night. I've got my hot cocoa.
Definitely cold.
Yeah, we got a little bit of snow going on outside.
Do you really? Oh, nice. You're in Pennsylvania?
Yep.
Where?
Oh. I think
Oh,
they're
Are
not
you
too
in
far-
Harrisburg?
No, we're in like the Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, they're not too far from my place up there. I got a place in Poconos.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, right. What's it called? Gold.
Yeah.
I forgot where I'm from.
He forgot where he lives.
It's in Eagle Lake. I don't know if you heard Eagle Lake the community over there.
Yeah, I've heard
We're
of
off
it.
to a
I haven't-
good
I haven't
start.
been there in a long time.
Yeah, so Goldsboro. I mean,
Goldsboro, yeah.
Goldsboro.
see, I
Mhm.
told you I could remember something. I get old, and I have senior moments 24 hours a day. So don't ask me my name by the end of the night because I'm not going to remember it.
Forget about it.
Just look at your shirt. You're the ghost guy.
I know,
Ghost guy.
ghost guy.
See, this used to be Seekers Club for my team, Seekers Club with Paranormal, but now with the Seekers Chronicles, so it's SC, Seekers Chronicles. So I got the double meaning now.
You planned it.
Yeah, you see that? I planned this
You
about
planned
50
it.
years ago. So, guys, Empty Casket, Paranormal, that's your team. How'd you start?
So I've been into the paranormal since I was in college. Always been interested in it. In college, that's when the ghost hunting show started really coming out. And I was an engineering student, so I had access to a lot of equipment that was similar to what they were using on the shows.
Ooh.
So me and my friends went and started doing some investigations locally and around Gettysburg and Centralia, and then they're like, okay, that was fun, and just went off and did other things. But I was bit by the bug, and over the years, I'd get out when I could, but never had any friends or anybody that was interested in it. When my brother got out of the Army, me and him started going to Gettysburg every year, and we would do ghost hunting while we were there. And then we met. And about a month after we started dating, we went to Gettysburg.
Yep.
Did ghost hunting the whole time we were down there, and just decided we need to do this all the time. So we started Empty Casket.
Yeah. Our first piece of equipment was in Tupperware.
Yeah. So I make my own equipment for the most.
Okay,
Yes.
I know a lot of people do that.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Tell us. Tupperware, you said?
Yeah. So I made a REM pod, and I made it the night before we were leaving for Gettysburg, and the only thing I had to put it in was a piece of Tupperware. So
Oh,
I was able
my
to cut the
goodness,
holes for the
I love
LEDs and all that, and it works.
Mhm.
That's
Hey,
what you need. It'll work.
you
You
would
don't
not
need, you don't need a fancy case to make something to make it work. The fancy case doesn't mean nothing. doesn't matter what's cake, as long as it works, and
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
Absolutely. However, now I have 3D printers and I make really fancy cases for them.
Right, of course.
There you
But
go.
that said, a fancy case is nice. I
Yeah.
made one for Anthony with the 3D printer, a REM
Yeah.
pod,
Oh, nice.
Now you use it all the
For-
time. Now it's
for
great.
his birthday on the 13th.
Yeah, on the 13th.
On the 13th.
Makes my birthday on the 13th. Yeah, so it was nice. So you still build equipment or just
Yep.
you build it for yourself
that,
and
yeah.
you sell too?
We mostly build for ourselves, but we sell it as well. I've done a lot of like custom work for people. You know,
Okay.
Our normal stuff that we make being empty casket, it's coffins, tombstones. It, kind of fits in that theme.
I
But
love that.
if anybody wants anything specific, I can do just about anything.
And he does repairs too.
I do repairs too.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
We-
Yeah.
At the end of the night, we'll type your information on the chat.
The chat.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys want to do it. Doesn't
Awesome.
matter. But yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be good.
Sounds
So-
good.
Yeah. So then you'll have 1 million orders by the end of the night.
Well, we had one guy on the show, and before the show was over, he had 2 orders. He goes, "I'm getting
Yeah.
orders right now." As he's on the show, which I thought was awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah. You guys are here
So-
to talk about a location, so
Yeah, I mean, do you want to start with the location, you guys, and do you want to start with the talking boards? Let's start with the location, shall we?
yeah.
What do you think, Kim? Kim, what do you think, Kim?
Location.
Oh boy. I
Kim,
think
what was it?
we should let's go to the location.
Yeah. Location.
Tell us-
location.
How you guys
We could ask our guests as well.
We're going to be going. Let's get to the location so we get the show started.
well Bill
Get
and
this
Tanya,
started.
tell us how you chose this location. Because we're all about the history, but tell us why this was the location that you wanted to take us to together tonight.
So the Clay Mansion.
And tell us the name of it. Reveal it. You can do the big reveal.
So the location is McClay
Yes.
Mansion. It's in Harrisburg,
McClay
Pennsylvania.
Mansion.
Ooh.
Yep. It is one of the older buildings in Harrisburg. One of the founders of Harrisburg built it. It is not someplace that's easily accessible for ghost hunters because it is the home of the Pennsylvania Bar Association. There is a single group that has access to get in there to do events, and that's typically the only way to get in there. That
Mhm.
group is Get Haunted, which we work with them.
Mhm.
So we started going to McClay Mansion to, first just to kind of test the place out, and then hosting events there, which we host special events there when we do it, where we do like past and present. So we do some of the old Victorian stuff and the newer stuff, and then we mix the two together. But
Nice.
as we've been going there, for about a year and a half now,
Mhm.
and
You went a little bit more than me.
it's a place that has really grown on us and is very rapidly coming up the ranks as our favorite place to go. It's what I love about it is that it's subtle. It's not in your face haunted, but there's enough things going on that always happen at just the perfect timing that it's fascinating to be there and witness what happens.
Yeah, like you can explain
Right.
things, like we always try to debunk. So you can say you can debunk things, but just the timing has been phenomenal. Like things that have happened to us, we're like, yeah, we can easily explain that as something environmental, but at the same time, it's answering the questions, it's doing things right on
Right.
cue,
Mhm.
and that's fantastic.
Right.
Yeah,
Like ding ding.
The intelligence
right there.
of it. Yeah.
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 Yes, exactly.
To
Yeah.
give an example, there's
Cool.
on the bottom floor, there's one particular door that if you have it propped open a little bit, it'll slam shut.
Yes.
Now,
Okay.
the door is on a string, and so it is supposed to close. It's not supposed to slam, but it is supposed to close. So the first couple of times it happened, we brushed it off as oh, it's on a spring, it's just closing. And then we noticed that it's only ever happening when we leave the room. So we thought, okay, well, obviously we're stepping on something. It's an old building, something shifting, and it's just
The
shutting it
sequel
down.
effect, yeah.
Right.
So we started trying to recreate it,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't happen until we
We were
all right,
running upstairs.
Yeah, we were jumping
jumping.
around.
We were
we got
timing it because we were like, maybe it's like a time thing.
we had at one point
Right.
15 people like all running around trying to find that spot that if you step on it, it shuts. Nothing.
Mhm.
It wasn't until we're like, all right, well, I got no explanation for this. Let's go. And we walk out of the room and it's slammed shut.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
those
Or
kind of
it
things.
slams shut on people to scare
Right.
them. Like as perfect
Wow.
jump scare moments.
The last
No.
time we were there, we had a guest with us who all he wanted to do was see this door close. He's there for what, half hour, 45 minutes trying to get the door closed.
And we were just sitting. I'm falling asleep.
And finally, okay, well, we're gonna move on to another spot. And he's like, you see that? We have to go and leave now because
Yeah, we're
you won't
picking up
shut
the
the door.
equipment.
And as soon as he says that,
Oh
the door-
no.
It shut right in
Oh,
his
I
face.
love it.
He
I
went up
love
to
it.
it because we had like a piece of equipment like right there. I think maybe like a cap or something. I forget what it was.
I
And
love it.
he like he said kind of snarky too, like, well, fine
Right.
then. I guess
Like, fine.
get going, and walks right up to it, and all I hear is slam, and he screams and runs past me.
he runs
and-
up the stairs 3 at a
I
time,
scream.
and Tanya comes right up behind him, and it was funny.
I love it. Does this
I love
does this
that.
sound familiar, Anthony? Where I'm part of a group called Parasite, the Parasite Experience, and we have a theater in South New Jersey where we have a door that
Yep.
opens on its own, actually. And
Mhm.
Anthony has spent many hours with this camera on this door waiting for it to open.
And I reviewed it, reviewing an hour of a doorknob.
Yes. But we did find that there's one place on the wall, if you bang really hard, it'll open. So I follow everything you just said. I follow because I'm definitely the debunker. And I have a background in science. So it's like I'm hitting the wall and I hit one spot and the door opens and I'm like, that's it. But the point is, you're not doing that when the door opens. So, okay,
Yeah.
you still have to figure it
Yeah.
out. Like you were saying, you're jumping up and down, you're
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to do everything to debunk it, but you weren't doing that at the time. So it's like,
Mhm.
ugh, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we need some
Alrighty.
pictures. Let's get
Yeah,
some
let's-
pictures.
Yeah,
of
I
the
wanted to
I
show the
didn't-
place.
I love the slamming part of it. That does come up in my readings specifically, so I love that.
Oh yeah.
And also energy to do that, it takes quite a bit of spirit energy
Mhm.
to actually have that momentum. So I love that. And I always feel like when there's locations where that's happening, where it's not debunked, like the wind coming through or like a wind tunnel, like another door's opening, so that one closes, or it really tells me as an experiencer of the spirits that they're pretty strong there, or at least one of them is pretty strong there to do something like that.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
can't wait to hear your reading now.
I know, me too. I'm excited.
I'm gonna
So,
show
you
the
wanna
house.
Picture.
You want to show the house, and
I'm
I
gonna
can
show
just
the
give
house,
like a
the building.
quick
So you want to give a little
background.
history, Jen?
Yeah, because we are a history show.
Okay. Here we go.
Right. So here we have McClay Mansion.
That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
And it was, known as the home of William McClay. He was born in 1737 and he lived till 1804. Statesman, surveyor, lawyer, the country's first U.S. senator,
Wow.
and the son-in-law of John
Oh.
Harris Jr., the founder of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
And when was that built?
Cool.
In 1792. It was erected, I was just getting to that. It's erected in 1792. It originally had the appearance of a simple stone farmhouse with a high foundation and elevated first floor. Obviously, it had been renovated since then. The home was purchased in 1908 by William E. Bailey, a descendant of the early Harrisburg iron and steel industrialist family, the Baileys. They enlisted the expertise of an architect to transform the house into a Georgian revival masterpiece, which it is, clearly. And now it's beautifully preserved by the Pennsylvania Bar Association, which we just learned is also the occupant of the building. Just a brief history.
What kind of drinks they serve there? It's a bar. Is there any other type of bar?
Lady B says it looks like some of their plantation homes down here. So I assume that means the South down here.
So that is a beautiful building.
That is gorgeous.
I'm gonna bring back the other picture again.
It's just as pretty on the inside.
Oh yeah.
It
Look at
sure
that.
is.
So
Yeah, so this is quite old. I mean, 1790s. And, you know, William McClay, born July 20th, 1737.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
just show some of the pictures.
That's
as we go.
pre-America.
Pre.
As Anthony calls it, pre-America.
Pre.
One of the interesting things about William McClay that we only just learned the last time we were down there is he was actually supposed to be one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence.
Ah.
And
That's cool.
he the only reason he didn't is because there was a flood and he wasn't able to make it to Philadelphia.
Oh, I thought
Oh,
you were going to
wow.
say he didn't have a pen.
His big pen ran out.
Oh, that's
He didn't
That's
have.
crazy.
He lost the ostrich.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
fun fact.
And
That's cool.
yeah, fun fact.
That's
Nice.
awesome. Yeah.
Let's
That's
since we
it.
did just those two outside pictures, why don't we go to one of the readings? Because I did the reading on just those two outside pictures and an inside stairwell.
Which one?
The outside.
Do the
Okay.
reading one.
1, 2, or 3. One.
One.
Una.
Oh,
Here we
no.
Uno.
That's una. That's why I say it.
Okay, so we have another secret location for our podcast this week. This was submitted. I have 3 pictures that were given to me, and I'm going to start with this picture here. This is what I'm calling the gray stone, the gray stone house. And as I feel into this photo here, it's interesting. I feel like there's quite a bit of spirit here, and I don't feel like they're related. I feel like they come here. I want to say they come here to sleep and they leave. So I do feel like this would have been a hotel or is currently a hotel. But there's quite a bit of spirits walking in, casually walking out. I do feel them outside. I do feel them inside, and I don't feel like they're related. So that's interesting. And different time frames too. So I also want to talk about they really want everything to be quiet, so they don't want things to be loud, which is interesting because I also, in contrast to that, feel like there's quite a bit of events that happen here, either weddings or conventions, but I'm still feeling like this is an actively used building with people who are staying here. I feel like it is a hotel. I want to be brought to like Washington, D.C. with this, or Virginia or Delaware, something like that. And why that's also coming up is because I do feel like there are politics associated with this building, with this structure. I do feel like the gentleman who owned it, built it, was heavily into politics, if not like, I don't know, founding father or something like that. They also want to talk about the big water that's near this building. Like a big river. I think it's a river. It feels like it's flowing. And I feel like they used it. And it was a part of why this structure was built on the water, because there is like a shipping connection or something like that, a goods connection with the water. Okay, but yeah, there's something here about the quietness. They like it quiet. They come out, these spirits will come out more in the quiet. So if this is a place that's being investigated, which obviously they've had experiences here, the spirits tend to come out more in the quiet. There's something here about music also. Like they don't like a lot of music going on, or like music will be heard or something. That I feel like people hear music here and they don't know where it's coming from. It's like this music. And then also, like, people might experience doors slamming, like actual, like, slamming of doors, and lights moving, like swinging or moving lights.
Awesome.
Holy crap.
You can say shit. You can say holy shit. It's YouTube.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was all right. So there's 2 things you said that you were 100%. There was a lot of things you said that you were 100% right. But 2 things that haven't been mentioned yet that you are absolutely correct on. It is right next to the Susquehanna River.
Oh.
Like
Big
right there.
river.
Yeah, cool. Okay. In the next picture, I think I could see it a little bit, so I might have been cheating, but I couldn't see it till the next picture. Anyway, but yeah.
And the music thing. So the last time we were there was early December, and we were doing a seance in one of the conference rooms. And the whole time we were in there, we were hearing music coming from outside where they had it, or not outside, but like outside the room in the big like living room type area, which they had beautifully decorated for Christmas, and it was music, and we could hear people talking and moving around. It was like they were having a Christmas party right outside the room.
Oh,
Wow.
But there was no one there.
Music, no.
No, everybody that was there that
That's
night was
Within
in that
one
room with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy.
You sent me some
Yeah,
pictures.
cool.
Would you send me a picture of those rooms?
No, we didn't have a picture of that particular room.
Okay. No, so I
Also
got the pictures here. So
The you said something about like you feel two different types of presents, or like a separate. So I don't know if Bill mentioned, and I think you kind of did mention it, Jenny. There's like an addition to that house, so there was like two separate families. So they call it one side like the old side, the new side. So
okay.
we do get different presences depending on what side we're on, we're at, and the house we're at.
wow.
Okay.
And
the
they're
Bailey
unrelated?
side.
Yeah.
So you have
They're
the McClays on
unrelated,
one side, the Bailey
Yeah,
on the other.
Unrelated.
Yeah. So it depends. I mean, we can get them throughout the whole house, but it just seems that there's like a difference between the old side and the new side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wow. On the money.
I love that you brought up this idea that he was supposed to sign the Constitution, because literally that's what I was like, this guy's like on the Constitution. He was like, I know like Benjamin Franklin, and like I know Washington, and I know all those people. So there might be some bitterness there that he didn't get to sign it.
I was literally just about to say another fun fact. William McClay hated John Adams.
He hated.
Oh.
We found this out
And I
last
wonder
semester,
why.
And we ran with that information because we're.
So the
Sure.
reason we're able to get into this place is because two of the people who helped run Get Haunted work there. So they've worked it out that as long as they are there to kind of watch over everything, we could come in. So they're the two people who do a lot of the research and trying to find the history of this particular location. And they very recently found a descendant of the McClays, and have been recently getting more information about them through the descendant.
Wow.
So we're actually hoping to do an investigation with this descendant at some point in the near future.
Oh, wow.
That would be cool. That would be some trigger object. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We
Trigger
brought a trigger
person.
object.
Yeah.
Your great grandchild.
Yeah. When you bring family in, that's cool.
Wow. And I mean, there's like I learned in the research and things you sent me that Pennsylvania was the first state to elect senators, right? Through the state legislature. And he was the first one elected.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of first. There's a lot of politics. Not just politics, but a lot of politics.
Yeah.
So he was the first senator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You really right in the money, Kim.
Yeah.
The first to be elected that way. Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I just want to let everybody in the audience know, Kim did not know this location till the beginning until we started the show, pretty much.
yeah.
Well, when we got into
an hour ago.
behind stage and everything before the show.
But even if she did, I didn't tell anybody like the ghost part of it, the things we were experiencing, and even that you nailed on the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she has
the locations, they speak for themselves. They speak for themselves. But the only other thing, does it have a history of a hotel? And I could have just been feeling that it's far.
There's an apartment building right across the street. Maybe that's what you were picking up on. I don't know.
Now, granted, there is some empty history that there's like blank spaces that there's no confirmation on what happened during that time. So maybe, maybe it might have. We don't really know. Like I said, our friends are still digging up more and more. Each time we go there, it's like new information.
Yeah.
So it could.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Maybe
or it could be the offices that you're seeing.
There is office, so there's people in there every day. There is offices. There's always a traffic of people in and out.
So what Kim
Yeah,
gives you
cool.
tonight, man,
Yeah,
you
I
guys
think
get
it
to
felt
have those
more
leads. So here's I'm just going to show a couple more pictures of the inside of this place. I thought this was
Yeah.
cool. I always like this. Look at these stairs going down. Look at this. I always like these
Wow.
shots.
I love that stairwell.
Look at
stunning.
that. And the
What-
pictures on the wall here. Well, who are those? They look like maybe presidents.
So depending on where you are in the building, they're either pictures of the McClays or the Baileys, or they're some of the different chairmen of the bar association.
Okay. Okay.
And we get like that whole stairwell when we do investigations. We put people. What's it like? 3 floors?
Yeah, it's
3 floors. From the top floor to the bottom, right there, like where you see the rug and everything. By the way, that little arch at the bottom,
That's
right,
where that door
right,
is.
that's where that door's at.
Oh,
okay.
that slams.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, the one that
and-
slams? Cool.
the one
Yeah.
that closed, yeah. So we
Okay.
we put people all down the whole stairway and everything, and we get phenomenal activity of just sitting there with some equipment, and yes, things go off and the door's shutting, and
Yeah,
That
and,
is
and
so
That's
cool.
I
so
don't know what it is,
cool.
but right about center of the picture, but more towards the right, there's like a little floral pattern type thing.
Mhm.
That's a couch, and it's original to the building.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that was
That
the
is
lady
very
of the
cool.
houses.
Mary McClay.
Yeah, Mary.
That is
Mary.
wow.
Oh.
And there
That-
were, did I count correctly, 4 daughters?
Believe that's correct.
I think Mr. McClay had several daughters at least.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think-
I
4.
think
There's
it's
another
half.
Mary,
Yep.
Esther,
there-
Mary, Sarah, Jane.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, that was quite the house full of women.
Oh yeah,
That-
yeah.
that's-
There's definitely some question on the total number of kids. It seems like every time we go down there, the number is a little bit different because they uncover more information.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever on the stairs here on those stairs put sensors like every other step going down?
Yes.
You
Yeah,
have.
we would do
Yeah.
like tripwire. We'll have cat
Cat
balls.
balls.
We'll have REM pods, K2s.
Yeah,
you
we
name it.
put equipment all through,
Mm.
like, so we have people
Mhm.
scattered about, and then we put equipment from the bottom right there all the way up the stairs.
Yeah, because
Um,
I have a feeling these stairs are active and things
Yeah.
constantly going,
Very
especially
active.
the,
Yeah.
the one over here that we're looking down on right now to our left. You know,
Oh yeah. We've
that
had
right there, I
times-
feel there's stuff going on there.
We've had times where we've had something go off at the very top near the doorway to the attic, and then
Mhm.
kind of like work its way
Way down,
down,
yeah.
all the way down.
Oh,
to the
nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is cool.
Yeah,
That's-
that's
I love
great
that.
evidence. Yeah.
And then once you get the sense, and you have on one of the locations we did in Staten Island, the Chrysler Mansion, we put every other step we put sensors, you know, the
Mhm.
motion sensors, and
Right.
we were on the top floor there, and we're looking, and all of a sudden you see sensor go on, then off, another one go on, like somebody was going up the stairs. It was the wildest thing, and
Oh,
when
yeah.
you see that, it's like, yeah, like a kid in a candy store. Like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is so cool,
We've seen
man.
that a couple times at different locations, and it's
Yeah,
absolutely
that's so
amazing.
cool. So here's another. I really they're very small, so I can't see exactly what they are. But the bottom of the stairs. Is that
Bottom
it?
of the steps, yeah.
And that's the door that
Okay.
slams.
No, they're both bathrooms, so that's the women's bathroom.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
have a picture. Did you take a picture?
In that house, you need a couple of those
So-
ladies'
So
bathrooms.
if you're standing
Yeah.
facing this direction, the door would be directly to your left.
Okay.
Cool.
Does that ship have any significance with the original of the house, or
No.
because there's
No.
an ocean?
There's a few things. There's a few things in there that they've picked up over the years that like estate sales and antique
Okay.
stores that just kind of fit with the house, and that was one of them.
However, down in that room, and it's facing the ships on the opposite side, there is a collection of like the house's objects, and one of them is John McClay's original journal.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh, okay. I read a little bit about that journal. They
That's
said
so
that there were some things that were a little bit, mysterious in it.
What's
makes
really
sense.
what's really mysterious about that journal is we were there, we were doing a seance, and when we do a seance, so we don't necessarily always have a medium with this. We use the Gansfield experiment to create an artificial medium. So the person who was under the Gansfield, they got a vision of somebody sitting there, a man sitting there writing in a book, and then like angrily closing the book. And they described the book. They described the color, the size, the way that the gilding was on the side of the book. They described it to a T. And as they're describing it, I'm just sitting like, oh my God, I know this book. So as soon as they were done, I said, come on, you got to come with me. So we go downstairs, we go up to that display, and there's a couple books in there. Only one of them's the journal. And they pointed to the journal, like, that's the book I saw. I'm like, that's the journal of William McClay. You had a vision of William McClay writing in his journal.
Right.
Can you tell us more about that method too? Just so if our listeners don't know about it, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So do you want to kind of go over like what we do?
Yeah.
All right.
So we've developed this over a couple years now. We're really big into the spiritualism. Even though I make equipment, we love the spiritualism age type stuff, the Ouija boards, pendulums, all that kind of stuff. But seance is something that we love doing, but it's hard to do if you don't have a medium. So when we realized that things like the Estes method and the Gansfield experiment create an artificial medium, we kind of ran with that. So what we do is I build what we call the Gansfield goggles. It's one set of goggles that have the red light in it, the white noise to simulate the Gansfield experiment. So you could just put on the goggles, plug in your favorite headphones, and you're good to go. And then, so we have our medium do that. And then the rest of us, we sit around the table with them. We're all holding hands. We have a little opening kind of prayer kind of thing that we say to invite the spirits in.
We also have Stinko.
And we have a kind of an EM pump going at the same time. This EM pump it's specific to 7.83 hertz, which is the resonant frequency of the human brain, as well as the resonant frequency of the Earth's magnetic field. So Dr. Michael Persinger, who is the reason we used EMF meters in the paranormal, he was doing research in trying to kind of help people connect with each other psychically using the magnetic field of the Earth, because its resonance frequency, our resonant frequency are the same. We should be able to pass information. So in what he was doing, he ended up creating the God helmet, which pumps that 7.83 hertz directly into your brain. What we're doing, since I can't afford a God helmet, is a miniature, cheaper version of the same thing. So what we'll do is when we get there, we'll plug that in the room that we're going to do the seance in and let it run for hours. Just kind of building the energy up in that room. Then we go in there. What was that?
No Tupperware.
No Tupperware anymore. So we'll let the energy build up in the room. Then we'll sit around, and this way, anyone who wants to try to be the medium that night gets a chance to. So we'll give them up to 15 minutes.
That's awesome.
Because traditionally, the Gansfield experiment, they cut you off in 15 minutes, mainly because the light was so bright it would start damaging your eyes. So we don't use quite as bright, but we still stick within 15 minutes just to be safe. Yeah. And this way, everyone gets a chance. And some people don't get anything, but that's pretty rare. Usually, people get at least something. More often visions than audio. But sometimes they'll hear things over the white noise. And the thing I love about it is, I designed it, I built it. I know it's only capable of producing red light and white noise. And they'll hear voices, they'll see colors, they'll, all these different things happen. And it's just so fun to witness and be part of. Yeah.
It's awesome especially when you have other people besides yourself that could get something out of something that you built and get results. And you're like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, or have an experience, be able to have an experience like that. You built something that somebody else who's never
Right.
had that experience, and then now their perspective is totally changed.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
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 I
One
would
of the-
love
Yeah.
to know how many people who have used it who then have like been like, oh my gosh, I can do this, and then actually started doing it more on their own, like either taking psychic or mediumship, and like, but you were the
Oh, a few.
knighted for it.
Mhm.
We know
Yeah.
a few definitely. And it's funny, it's
Yeah.
always the people are like, oh, this isn't like I never do anything. I never get anything.
Mm-hmm.
They always get the
And
most.
they're always the ones that get the most.
Yeah.
I think we should
love
believe
that.
that everybody has these abilities. It's just how open are you? How more, in tune are you? And it just takes,
Right.
practice and opening yourself up. And, it's
Mhm.
really awesome to see that.
Trust.
the
Gan-
ones.
That's
Gansfield
amazing.
is some experiment.
yeah.
I've been part of a couple of those, and it's really something. Just and stuff just comes to you. I'm
Mhm.
sensitive, so it comes to me, maybe a little faster. But things just come to you, and I seen fire going on and all this stuff, and then we find out that the building on the block burnt down and people were killed, and it was a bar, and I had all these things coming to me, with fire and a bar, and it was like one of those really dirty type of bars, like
Yeah.
a dive and stuff, and everything came to me. I'm like, and you're all blocked up, and you're just saying it, and
Yeah.
people they were like, and then later on it's like, oh yeah, the people that own the place down the block, this bar. I don't know how it came to this place because we were opposite corners, but
Mhm.
Well, one of the things that one of what we like about it is it gives the average person a chance to have that psychic experience.
Mhm.
But if
Right,
you
right.
already have that psychic skill,
Yeah.
then it just amplifies it even more.
Mhm.
We did an event with Scotty the medium, and
Yeah, Scotty.
well, I got to try these out. He put
Scotty.
them on, and he didn't shut up for 15 minutes. Like the full
Mhm.
15 minutes, he's given us like detail after detail after detail of an old
I love
murder
it.
case that happened at some beach somewhere, to the point where he gave us enough information. We were going through newspapers.com trying to find the actual article around this, and
Yeah.
it
I
was,
love it.
Yeah, afterwards he took them off. He's like, he goes, I get stuff all the time. This is nothing new to me, but this was a whole new level to it.
And at McClay,
Really?
we get like amazing results with the seance.
Yeah.
Like that's like
Really?
our big, grand finale. It's never failed.
Nope.
That it was such a great night.
No, when we do these public
Scotty's
events,
good
I
guy.
would love
too.
you to
Scotty's
try
so
them,
good.
Jenny.
Yeah, I'm not.
I would love for you to
sensitive,
try
I'm
them,
not a
Jenny.
medium. I'm not. I
Yeah,
don't
you-
receive anything.
Yeah,
Neither are
you
we.
keep saying this.
I'm no Scotty the
But this
medium.
girl
He
in
is
front of a
amazing
scrying
anyway.
mirror is seeing everything. So I would love
Oh.
for you to try those. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be good for
Would
you.
you?
Yeah, Jen.
Yeah,
I
not
think
sensitive.
I've just invited myself, you guys.
You're more than
Jenny's gonna be your next
Or I
victim.
invited you
I-
to there.
Yeah.
Kim just
Cool.
wants to see me do it. Yeah.
I want to see you use these.
No,
I
but
do.
for somebody like me, it is like she said she did this, like especially for
right?
someone like me, it must be mind blowing.
Mm. Yeah,
Julie's like,
Okay.
cool.
So I
love
got
it.
2 more pictures here. I'm going to show
Cool.
another
Yeah.
one of your pictures.
And I got to hear another reading.
Yeah, we got other after these pictures. We'll start the readings again. That sound good? Because we also want to see some of your Ouija board,
We got
Your-
lots
your-
to cover.
Yeah, we
your
need a
talking
board.
boards,
Ooh,
your
talking
spirit
board.
boards, your Ouija boards, or whatever board you want to show us. Hey,
absolutely.
or the directors, I don't care, whatever.
Can't.
I know.
So that picture was taken the last time we were there, and so we had the laser grid pointed at that chandelier, because that chandelier would just start swinging,
Oh, I love
and then it would stop, and then it would start swinging again, and then it would stop.
Oh, what?
And so we put the laser grid on it just to kind of amplify that swinging a little bit.
hmm
It was then it started doing it when we asked it to, which was just that was really cool.
That is awesome when you get that.
That's some energy.
So that is
Wow.
the light that moves, because they told me there's a light that moves, and so that's the light that moves.
Oh, you did say that.
Oh,
yeah.
You said that.
there might be, but we also have a story about a light.
Oh,
Yeah. So
Okay.
the first time that we did our seance there,
No, the second time.
second
The
time,
second time,
we
yeah.
did the seance
Okay.
there. The Julie, who's one of the people who works there, she was wearing a headlamp around her neck, and it's like you're your typical headlamp that has the clicky button where it clicks when you press when you hit it to turn it on and off.
Yep.
It just turned on randomly, and then we asked the question,
it.
and we all looked at the light, and the light turned on. So she took it off. We ended up putting it in the middle of the table, and it starts turning on when we ask a question. It's not clicking. We're not hearing the click of the button. So I'm like, okay, I have to check this out. Maybe the button's no good. So I pick it up and I start pushing the button. You hear it click, the light's not turning on. So I'm like, what the hell? Maybe the button really is broken. So we just kind of hung it on a doorknob, forgot about it, started going on with the seance. And then somebody towards the end asked a question and they directed it at the light, and the light turned on.
Awesome.
And
Wow.
when we were all done with it, one of the guys walked over to the light, picked it up, clicked the button, and the light turned on the way it's supposed to.
Oh my goodness.
And that's like what we're talking about, like things that we can easily debunk.
Right.
Which is like a light, okay, maybe like I think you and Terry were like, oh, we can, maybe it's something like a sensor in there or something's breaking down. This can happen. But the fact
but the timing of it.
The timing of it only did that when we directed questions towards it, when we mentioned the light, like, and then we brought that back with us, and it didn't do it again, unfortunately. But then that night, that was a knocking. Then we heard the knock, like things like that we can easily debunk. It's just so weird that everything times out perfectly for us.
Yeah, especially at that location. It's just. Like I said, it
sounds
amazing. It's not an in-your-face haunting. It's subtle, but it's powerful.
Responsive. Yeah.
Do you find that it's always like that, like haunted, or do you find that some dates it's just completely quiet? Like, is the activity always at a certain level?
Quiet.
I've not experienced a quiet night.
Mind you, this isn't a place that was originally. It's not like the Shanley where that's consistently being investigated. This is a place that's only been recently open for this type of thing.
Yeah, and they're very selective of who they allow.
Very
in,
selective.
So it doesn't get investigated all that often. We only do events there maybe 3 or 4 times a year, and then Terry and Julie, who are the people who work there that do it, like they'll do maybe a private investigation for the people who work there once or twice a year. They'll investigate it themselves a handful of times a year, so it's not being investigated often.
Yeah, it's not over investigated like most places.
Yeah, so it's so we feel like the people, like the spirits are coming forward. They, they're being more active because of that. They're finally realizing they have a voice and they can communicate.
Want to communicate. Yeah, they're willing and able to communicate. Yeah.
How did the lawyers there feel about it? Do most of them are good with it, or are some like, I don't want to know?
There's a couple who are just like, you know what? Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
There was a few that are just really kind of, while they're not necessarily into the paranormal, they're kind of interested in what's going on in the place they work. So they like hearing the stories. In November, we went down there to help Terry and Julie because they were having some of the people who work there and their families come in for an investigation. So we got to kind of investigate with the people who actually work there and their wives and their kids. And that was a lot.
That's so cool.
That's wild.
That's fun.
That's very cool.
Are they having experiences there too? The workers, they've had experiences.
Yeah, and that particular door that slams after we experience it and we're trying to debunk it and all that, they're like, oh yeah, that happens all the time. Every time we leave that area, the door slams.
Right.
Again, they're experiencing subtle things too. It's not like an in-your-face type of thing. It's probably stuff they probably didn't even realize is happening.
I've seen that before. Right? They don't know. They notice it, but they don't think, okay, that's paranormal, because they're just going about their day.
Sure.
Yeah, they just feel good. It happens. It happens.
The door slam. Go open it. Yeah, exactly.
I got one more picture I'd like to share.
Yeah. Oh, look at those windows.
Gosh, this is such a pretty place.
Yeah.
So you can't see it in this picture, but if you stand in front of that window and look out, you get a beautiful view of the Capitol building in Harrisburg.
Oh, wow. Really?
Wow. Nice.
That is nice. That's the chain hanging down for that lamp too.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
light.
Wow.
Wow.
You have like a
That-
built-in
and-
giant pendulum.
Yeah,
Kinda.
really.
It is.
So,
Yeah.
so
Good point.
remember this picture, because when we get to the Ouija boards, this
Mhm.
picture will become important.
Okay.
Did Mr. McClay pass away in the house? I wasn't able to find out.
I
I
don't know.
We would have to ask Terry and Julian. I don't even know if they would know.
Yeah,
I'm just
I know.
curious.
I know a couple of the children did. I know Mary
Yeah.
McClay did, but William McClay, I'm not sure.
He's the only one I wasn't able to find where he died. So when he died, yes, but not where. I was just curious.
Did they ever lay out any
Hmm.
bodies in that house? Because that's a huge house. Back in those days,
Probably.
they keep them
Probably. I
home.
mean, that was typical back in that time.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I would
sure.
assume so.
You know.
Maybe during the Civil War.
Yeah.
So like the Civil War up into the late 1800s, that's the period of time where we've not been able to find much, if anything, on the history of what happened during that time period. So that's a big
That could be why.
black spot in the
Mhm.
history. So we're hoping, especially now that they've made contact with a member of the Clint McClay family, that maybe we can
Yeah.
learn more. So
Right,
Yes.
right. No, but
There might be some kind of genealogy done on that place by the McClays.
yeah,
And maybe you do have something that's a gem that's waiting to be pulled out and shown, you
Oh.
know?
I mean, just the fact you have that journal and that the family, I guess, allowed it to be published eventually.
Mhm.
That's amazing to have somebody's journal.
Mhm.
Like,
I know.
yeah, that's huge.
We'll have Kim go down there. She'll find out between the period time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
you go,
there is
Kim.
something that does come up in my reading, which I don't think is related to the family that we're talking about, and that may be a part of what happened in the middle time frame. So I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's see it.
Do you want to play another one?
let's
Yeah,
do it.
but-
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Sure.
here
Do the second one. I think it's a shorter one. If I'm anyway, just do
Yeah,
two.
48.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the next photo. It's also the outside of the building. Okay, so I'm intuiting this just from looking at the photo, and also what they're telling me is that like it's all new. Like everything on the outside is new. It's all new. New landscape, new structure, new owner, new everything. So I don't know if this was previously owned by somebody and now it's being available to be used again. But lots of renovations on the outside specifically. And actually, is this water here? It might be water, I'm not quite sure. And I'm not getting much else from this picture, actually. Entering, exiting, residual, exiting, entering. And yeah, this politics keeps coming up.
Politics.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. So you didn't
Yeah,
know
that came
about
up in-
Mr. Bailey, and in the early 1900s, renovating it into
Mhm.
this Georgian building.
Mhm.
So you definitely picked up on that.
That's
It's
awesome.
because it's really hard
Cool.
to tell just looking at it that it would be 1908 that it was renovated. There's kind of a range, that it could be.
Mhm.
Obviously, it
Mhm.
doesn't look like 1750, but
And like we said, there's like new part and old part, the addition. I mean, they
Yeah.
did nice. They bled together
it's
beautifully.
beautiful.
Even to this day, they're renovating. They just renovated inside and everything as well too. So
Yeah, they're redoing some of the electrical, the
some of the
attic,
offices.
some of the offices. Yeah, they found beautiful hardwood floors underneath the carpets that have been there for decades. So they're
Wow.
tearing up
Oh,
the
yeah.
carpets and they're keeping the hardwood floors.
What a
Yeah.
place to work.
Yeah, good.
I think I'm going to go to law school and move to Pennsylvania.
The place is gorgeous.
I guess what I would say, maybe we should do the third one and then we'll wrap that up. Yeah,
Okay.
because the third one I talk about the stairwell and what's coming through there.
Okay. Here we go.
Here's beautiful. Inside we have this, oh my gosh, 1, 2, 3-story round staircase, circular staircase. They have a name for these. Wow. Okay. So again, I see people staying here. I see it being used as a hotel. lots of people, different people staying here. I don't know if there was like illegal stuff happening here, meaning like ladies of the night, or bootlegging. That may also be something. And they're telling me that like there's a problem in the basement. So there's a problem in the basement. There's a problem in the basement. I don't know if this is structural problems in the basement. No, this feels like energetically there's a problem in the basement. And it actually feels like possibly a negative entity in the basement. They're saying like maybe even somebody's been scratched here. That's surprising. So I'm also seeing this woman who I feel like she has free reign of this entire building and outside. I see her outside and I see her inside. She's wearing a long, full dress. I mean, like full, like almost like a party dress, but it feels colonial. Could it be early 1800s also, where she is very wealthy. I feel like the name Elizabeth is coming up, and an M name is also associated with her. The word that's coming up is actually cruel. So what is this? People would see her. They would just see a floating woman is how I'm seeing her. It's just like this floating woman on the stairs, floating through. I do feel like she died here, and she is a deeply unhappy woman, and strict. Her connection feels to France, if her family came from France, or if there's a lot of artifacts from France, but there's a connection to France, and she's related to this politics part of this. She might have actually even died in the image that we're looking at. I don't know if there's a story of a woman dying here, whether on the stairs or someone falling, I do feel there's something with this. And again, I don't know if this was a brothel or like, I feel like there's women coming in here, women of the night. Interesting. There's quite a regality to this building though as well. Like the owners are very wealthy and very prominent. And there's the shipping business again, like they're showing me this waterway and there's this shipping of goods. So I do feel like that might be the profession of the gentleman who lived here. But there's a deep connection to the foundation of America. The foundation of America and possibly even the Constitution. I would be very curious. I don't know if there's a picture of the basement or if they've been in the basement, but I'd be very curious to know if they've had experiences in the basement, because even what she's telling me is like she doesn't go in the basement and like nobody goes in the basement, but there's like an energetic problem in the basement. I don't know if there's like a well in there or something open that's in the basement that's energetically like not great, but there's a problem in the basement, like an energetic problem in the basement. Interesting. So I'm really excited to know what this location is and hear about your experiences and also get everybody else's reads on this as well.
Holy shit.
There you go.
What's amazing? Their expressions as you're saying things, because I can still see them. We can see them backstage. I'm seeing as you're saying things, they go.
Where do we start?
Tell everyone what's going on here.
All right. So
where do we start?
The woman you're talking about is Mary McClay.
Mm-hmm.
100% without question. That's Mary McClay.
People have seen her.
People have seen her. You know, her children have died there. You mentioned two names of her children. I don't know if she was French. I don't know.
Her name was Harris, right? She was a Harris.
She was.
Because that's his father-in-law. Right. Harris. Yeah. Mary Harris.
You mentioned cruelty. So when we're in the bottom floor, which I guess technically is the first floor, it's not really a basement. We often do the human pendulum down there. Mary McClay always comes through when we're doing that. And one thing she tells us all the time is how cruel her husband was to her. Always. She was a very unhappy woman. She was unhappy with her marriage. It was, I believe, an arranged marriage, if I remember correctly. She dealt with it for the kids.
Right.
And then you started talking about a hole.
Basement,
a well, kind of. The last time we were there, they had just had some electrical work done. when they were working with the electrical panel, a brick fell and kept falling. So they ended up opening up that wall, and there was a bricked off basement. Nobody has been physically down there yet.
Wow.
But we were
They're
able to
thinking
kind of
maybe it's a
look down
wine
there.
cellar or something, but
Yeah, it looks like that at some point there was a way to get in there from outside, but it's currently covered up. Nobody knew this existed. Like they just
Oh
found it
my
before
God.
we were there last.
What?
Yeah.
And that could be because of prohibition also.
Yeah, you were talking about
Really,
bootleg
yeah.
things.
You have a river
Oh,
with a
yeah.
thing that's
That's why
blocked off.
they blocked it
So-
up.
So the brothel, the bootleg, that I don't know. That would have been possibly during that period of history where we don't really know for sure.
Right.
So I don't know about that, but so much of the like you nailed it.
yeah.
That was
Oh my
impressive.
yeah.
The
Well,
secret
this
basement.
building
And
is
you were
God, that's crazy.
that is crazy. But
We got
you
to
guys
down there,
said-
but
I've never heard you say it's dark. Like Kim's not one to go there. Like that's the first time I've ever heard you say it's a bit dark. In the basement.
So yeah, so
That's
when
not usual for you.
when we're down there investigating, Mary McClay almost just pretty much always comes up. There's always something else.
children.
Children. There's something else that I've experienced down there just about every time I've been there. I don't know what or who it is. There's one doorway that they're always kind of like standing there watching. It feels more like a shadow figure. I've never physically seen it, but it's there watching. It doesn't get involved. I don't know anything about it other than that. But it's it's an interesting place.
That's awesome.
Well, I wonder. So, have you investigated there since they've opened up this basement?
So the last time we were there was like a week after they've opened. They haven't investigated that basement.
Yeah, they can't get down to it, I don't think.
No, it's just like a little opening. It's big enough that you could kind of stick your head down there with a light and kind of look down.
Oh my God, I want in so bad.
I believe the plan is they're going to try to find the former outside entrance to get down in there and try to get down in there. If for no other reason to kind of check everything out structurally, make sure there's no like hidden issues that they don't know about.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
they haven't got.
Yeah.
That's probably a summer
Like
thing.
you said.
Yeah.
That also
Yeah,
could have
they
been
were like, "There's a
something-
problem down there. Like, there's a problem." Is
With
this
the
a
Underground
national
Railroad.
historic? Or
Yeah,
that too? Yeah.
I think so.
I mean,
I
I think
did-
it'd have to be, right?
I would
Underground
imagine.
Railroad.
I guess, but I didn't find that anywhere.
I mean, for
I
how
never saw it
the
referred to
history of
as-
it, you would
as
think it's
that.
the historical building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when you have tunnels like that, it's one or two things: Underground Railroad or Prohibition, when they used to bring the
Right.
alcohol in. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially
From
right
the
on the
river.
river like that.
Yeah.
know,
Right on the
Yeah.
river.
And if it was just a home at one time, most likely they wouldn't be bringing the liquor in through there.
No, unless it was like a wine cellar or
And I think they mentioned that,
Yeah,
like
cold
maybe it could be a wine cellar or a cold storage, but
yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
cold storage.
hopefully
was-
when they open that up more and able to get down there, they find more evidence of what it was at one
Yeah.
point.
'cause
Oh,
they
you have
wouldn't
to let
break
us
it off
know.
for if there was anything else besides something illegal. And two things were illegal were the Underground Railroad and Prohibition. So
True. Or for safety. It could be, like you said, not safe for some
Mhm.
reason.
Mhm.
Either
Is
paranormally not
this
safe
building-
or
what's up?
Structurally, yeah, or structurally not safe.
structurally
Is this
not
building
safe.
on the National Historic Registry?
I
don't
never
know.
saw it that mentioned.
Okay,
In all
'cause
the research I did,
often-
I never saw that. It could be, but
Okay.
I never saw it referred to as that.
often if they are, they have floor plans. So when they register these buildings to make them
Mhm.
historic, they often post floor plans. So they'll have floor plans of like the basement, first floor, second floor, third floor in the registry. So that might be another interesting place to look too, to see if, and that's just for my own history, looking up places to see if they have a floor plan of a level below the first floor. Ooh, fascinating.
That's a mystery. I love it.
So cool. You
That's
came
a
up
good
with all
one.
that.
I would definitely say though, like, at least in my experience of the times I've been there, and you too, like, we've never felt anything malicious or horrible, like, authentically scary. Sadness, definitely, and uncertainty and wanting to be left alone, yes, but nothing never, that we felt was, dangerous or anything like that.
Well, hopefully it stays like that.
Yeah, like
you just hoping you open that wall, did it open up?
Yeah, like nothing that wants to harm or do anything. So we never experienced anything, on that terms.
Like I said, it was opening the wall. Just hope it's not letting something in that actually that's in behind that wall.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. Sorry for the shaky camera. Our dog's trying to get where he's not supposed to. He's bumping into
we love pets on the show. Usually I have like a cat on my shoulder. And we do. Kim has her dogs and we're like pet friendly. Everywhere. We are a pet friendly show.
Yep.
Yeah,
my grandpa went home. Not puppy sitting no more.
He doesn't have pets, but he's got the dolls.
I got a parrot.
You got a parrot.
Yeah.
The parrot
swears. Thank God she's quiet tonight.
The parrot is got a foul mouth like me.
my
ours just screams. So
yeah, mine talks. If I sit down with food, he asks for some. I have to feed him. He screams my wife's name. He screams when people leave. Says good night or good night. See you tomorrow. Or
man,
It's,
should we move on to the weed board? So.
You wanna?
Yes, I know. I think everybody here is excited. If you missed the beginning, we talked about the Empty Casket Talking Board Museum. They are the founders of.
Yes. This is awesome. The boards.
This is how we met you. So we met Bill and Tanya recently at an event called The Hollow, and Kim and Anthony and I were there together.
Yeah, the three of us were there.
Yeah. And that's where we met you and instantly knew that we wanted to know more. And you had a beautiful collection there.
And that was just a small part of my collection. I'm over 110 boards now.
Wow. Let's get into it.
Nice.
Did we finish all your readings? We're good with that?
Yeah, all good. Okay. Yeah, that was great. Thank you for sharing that location. I loved it.
Yeah, really amazing.
We got like another hour on the clock, so we got
perfect.
Good.
So
let's do it.
Before we completely leave McClay Mansion, I got to show you this board. So I've started making my own Ouija boards, and one of the things I'm doing is when I can get wood from a haunted location, I make a Ouija board out of that wood. So we have McClay Mansion.
Wow.
Some of the original steps from the mansion.
That's the window you're talking about.
That's the window. Yeah.
Stop it.
A picture of the mansion from when it was first built.
No way.
That is so cool.
That's phenomenal. I love it. How long does it take you to make something like that?
It varies. So if I have a really strong idea in my head, I can usually get it done in a week or two. Sometimes it takes months to kind of get a design together.
Sure.
So it kind of varies from board to board.
That's so cool.
We're gonna have a million questions. You don't want to have
that in the foyer there next to the ship. They don't want to have that.
They don't want to they don't want to display it. The journal and the talking board.
I offered them one. I did offer them one. They declined, which I fully understand because it's
not ready.
Not that kind of place. It's a bar association. Like we hear what you did. It's beautiful. No, we don't want it. Okay, fine. We offered.
Thank you. But
so
no.
Cool.
Bummer.
Thanks, but
Well,
no thanks. It's nice.
What got you
Maybe
into
it'll grow on
collecting
them.
Ouija boards or talkie boards or spirit boards, whatever?
Yeah, maybe we should start there. What the difference is?
So talking board, spirit board is more the generic term. Ouija board is a specific brand.
Right.
The first
Like
brand.
Parker Brothers. Mhm.
Yeah. So when we were naming the museum, we decided to stick with talking board because it's a little bit more generic,
Mm-hmm.
and we weren't gonna risk getting sued for
Mhm.
for using a trademark.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Makes
Sure.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was
Never
your
a good
first
thing.
board? What did you like? 4 years old, you pick up a Ouija board and say, "Hey, I'm gonna start collecting these."
No, I did not like Ouija boards. I hated them. Well, wouldn't own one, wouldn't touch one for the longest time.
Mhm.
Really?
As I got more into the paranormal and investigating more and more, I started to realize that Ouija boards are no different than any other tool that we use in the field. So my fear of them kind of started going away. And then we took a trip to Salem for her birthday one year, went to the Ouija board museum there, and I bought my first Ouija board, which is actually hanging up behind me.
Oh,
And by the end of that weekend, I had
you were
bought
hooked.
3 more. That was 3 years ago.
And then I gave you all mine.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it quickly went from fear to
1 to
interest to
100.
obsession.
Mm-hmm.
So you were afraid, but Tanya, you weren't.
Oh no, I've been using them since I was a
them.
little kid. It was
Okay.
my grandmother had one that we always bring out and everything. It was a normal thing in my household.
I love it.
And I tried
Wow.
telling him that.
Normal.
He said, "Yeah, I respect that, but I'm not touching one. I'm not dealing with that." I'm like, "It's not that bad."
She's like,
And then I was
"Yeah,
shocked
we
because
do
we
it
were
on
walking out of
Saturday
the
nights."
museum, and I'm like, "What do you have?" I didn't even see him make the purchase. He's like, "I bought one."
Yeah. And part of the reason we
You
have
sold
the museum is so there's 2 main reasons we have the museum. One, to justify my collection, and 2.
In that case, I should make my room a museum. Just use
Fair enough.
old equipment.
The second reason is we spend so much time at these conventions and these paranormal events and whatnot, talking to people and trying to explain to them why they're not scary, like why I'm no longer scared of them and all that.
Mhm.
That well, if we do a museum, I mean, and focus it on education, then we can dive into the history, the myths, the superstitions, and why a lot of it's bullshit, and there's no reason to be afraid of them.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah.
What
That's
percentage of people come up to you are scared, and what percentage are not? Like, how often do people come up to you and they're like, "No way"?
Scared because like you have people who are like, I respect them, but I don't use them, but I like them. Then you have people who are like, I won't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd say like people who actually come up and use them, like them, collect them, maybe like 15-20%.
Mm-hmm.
People who are truly terrified of them and want nothing to do with them is probably about 10%. And then the
Everybody
rest
else
is
falls in the middle.
somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
However, a lot of our events, people who are afraid of them, that we will sit with them and be like, look, explain to us why you're afraid of them. And then all we ask in return is that you let us tell you why we don't think you should be afraid of them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been quite a few times where people have walked away either no longer afraid of them, willing to use them. And we actually had one person walk up who was terrified of them and ended up buying one from us.
Mm-hmm.
I can't thank you enough, because one of my personal missions in this is to take the fear out of the paranormal.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
My sister-in-law is freaked out by them, refuses to let my great niece have one. Really annoys me. This is our friend Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
Learn about them instead of slamming the door on the possibilities.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's frustrating, I guess, if you're not afraid. But I love that you guys take that patient approach.
And like the one I had a bad experience as a teenager. So what we generally say is, like, obviously Ouija boards are being promoted as a game because they're they're through a game company, you know.
Right.
So the people that are using them are kids and teenagers. And what do? You're doing it at a sleepover. You have no idea
Right.
what you're opening yourself up to
Mhm.
and what, you know, you're doing. And that's where that fear comes from, because you are having this extreme experience. You are opening these doors. And as a kid, you really don't know what you're doing. And that's something that we realize, that everyone has those same experiences. That's where their fear generates from. And even people in the paranormal have that same fear. And we're like, well, you're in the paranormal. This is the stuff you want now. You want these reactions. That was just because it's something that happened as a kid. It kind of terrified you, and then kind of, you know, went into your adulthood as well.
Yeah, you change your perspective. If you take yourself out of being a kid and look at the experience that you had from a perspective of being a modern day paranormal investigator, it worked. You had weird things happen. You got exactly what you wanted. You got exactly what you are currently asking for on a ghost hunt. And
Right.
we've had a lot of people who were paranormal investigators terrified of Ouija boards, and when you put it to them in that perspective, they're like, oh yeah, I didn't really think of it that way. You're right. It was
Logic.
scary in the moment, but it wasn't a scary thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. So
Right.
what's
Like if it
your
happened to
oldest-
you today, it wouldn't be scary.
Exactly.
What's the oldest Ouija board you guys have?
So I have two of these.
It's huge.
This is
That's-
a little hard to
wow.
see. It's 1901.
Wow.
I have two of them from 1901. This one's actually in a little bit better condition than the other one I have, but yeah.
And that's
They're
before the
fine
Parker
antique
brothers bought them.
Mhm.
Is that before the Parker
You-
brothers bought the rights to them?
So Parker Brothers bought the rights in 1966. So it was it started off with the Kenner Novelty Company in 1891. In I believe it was 1896. Or no, I'm sorry, 1893. The Kenner Novelty Company became the Ouija Novelty Company.
Mhm.
Then they took their plant manager, who was William Fold, made him in charge of all of production, and then him and his brother created the Isaac Fold and Brother game company, in which William Fold then gave the rights to use the Ouija board to them, well, to himself. So he continued to produce and sell them. In 1901, they had a falling out, and William Fold created the William Fold Manufacturing Company, continued to manufacture the Ouija boards until 1966, when Parker Brothers bought the rights to it. Parker Brothers produced them until 1992, when Hasbro bought out Parker Brothers, and it is currently owned still by Hasbro.
Wow. That's wild. But before
Yeah.
all that,
No.
Ouija boards were even a board, wasn't it? Just like on a table with a glass
So-
and just people writing letters.
So the Ouija board, as we know it, the first documented talking board is 1886. It was
Okay.
called the New Planchette. It was a kind of a thing going on in Ohio, and it was basically a Ouija board. They wrote the alphabet down on a board, and they were using a planchette to, instead of, at the time, the planchette would write out words because there was a pencil on it. And so they took the pencil off and then used the planchette to point out to the letters, because it was easier that way than trying to have it write something.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Times ended up getting a hold of that. They ran a story with it, and then in 1890, Charles Kennard.
It's not the first documentation of one being burned.
Yeah, that was the first. That article was the first documentation of one being burnt. They told a story of a family who the wife and the kids were using it every night, to the point where they were avoiding doing some of their chores. So the husband had to go on a business trip, and right before he left, he burnt the Ouija board, or the new planchette. And
yeah, you better get to those dishes. I'm gonna burn that Ouija
And then they
board.
just made a new one.
yeah, they just made a new one. So he came back and they were using it.
You're like, dude, it's not hard.
How far does this, like, I know the board was just made, but the main idea of, they put it onto a board.
Right.
It was used before that, wasn't it? Yeah.
So
Concept.
so that's kind of an interesting point in the history because it depends on how you define certain things. A board with the letters on it using a planchette, that definition of a talking board, 1886 is the oldest one that we know of.
Okay.
Planchettes have been used since the 1840s, but they were writing, and then table tipping has been around since 1840s or earlier. And at some point, I believe in Germany, if I remember correctly, they started putting the alphabet on the edge of the table and had the table tipped toward the letter. So that was the first documented instance of doing something with the alphabet actually written out on something. There's a lot of claims of things that have happened, ancient Roman, ancient Greek, ancient Egyptians, of things that are Ouija board like, but they're just anecdotes. There's no evidence to support that there's any truth behind those stories, at least none that I've been able to find. So I 1886 was the first talking board as we know it. The 1840s, 1850s is when the ideas started to form. Prior to that, there very well could have been things that fall within that realm. There's just no documentation or concrete history that it's actually true.
Because I know the Fox sisters in 1848 when they first started with the Mr. Splitfoot, and they're the ones who started with the tapping and the letters, and
so they kind of like they wouldn't have it written out. They would kind of say it out loud and then tap on it. So
and then something with tap. So that's like basically something like that. And of course, later on they got to the table tipping and everything else. Yeah. So that's interesting how you said it's like the 1840s, 1850s. That's when the Fox sisters started coming up. As from the kids to becoming adults, and then later on in life, I think they died in like the 18
like
60s,
late
70s,
80s,
1860s, something like that. They weren't that old.
No.
I know we all think they must be older, right? But they're not.
They were in their 50s when they died. And they died within I think it was like 8 months of each other. The two youngest sisters. The older sister Leah kept on going. She kept on getting married and she lived older. But the reason I know about the Foxes is because they're buried not too far from me.
Oh, really? That's cool.
He knows a ton about them. By the way, I have to read a comment because it's hilarious. Ron Iacovetti said Anthony has a Luigi board.
A Luigi board.
I've seen the Luigi boards. They're really cool. I don't own one, but it's on my list of things I want to add.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious for him.
My brother.
Do you really have one?
No.
Or is he teasing you?
He's
just teasing you. Okay.
No,
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
he's quite funny. Yeah, a Luigi
board. He
is a joker.
He should have stayed a comedian. A real funny man.
Well, it's so interesting. I mean, we were talking about the Fox sisters and the talking boards, but it's all a part of that whole spiritualist movement that was happening, and when everybody really was just looking for a way to communicate with past loved ones, especially after the Civil War and stuff. So I'm in the camp of I love Ouija boards. I am not at this point in time inclined to use them. But if I was to use them, or if anybody in the audience would like to use them, do you have like a top 3 or top 5 tips of like what to do and what not to do?
Yeah.
All right. So the best thing to do is to find the original direction of the Ouija board. It's like, I believe 5 or 6 steps on how to do it properly. The first step you could ignore. The first step is actually how to take care of the board. And it's like oiling the board and whatnot. Went back when they were actually made out of wood. But essentially, what we would tell people is what's important is trust the people that you're doing it with, because intention is everything. So if you have somebody with you who has bad intention, that can maybe lead to bad things happening. Trust your intuition. If things feel off, they probably are. Maybe end the session. Another thing that's piece of bad information out there is that, oh, well, at the end you have to, move the planchette to goodbye. No, you don't, because what's on the board is for the spirits to talk to you, not for you to talk to the spirits. So when you're done, you can say goodbye. You don't have to move the planchette. People will tell you
That's
not
for
to.
them. Okay.
That's for them, exactly.
Okay.
People will tell you not to leave the planchette on the board. Why not? If they can move that planchette and move it around when it's sitting on the board without you touching it, why the hell do you have to ever touch it? So
Right.
I have left a planchette. I put a planchette on my counter, left the board on the counter, put the planchette on it, and left it for 3 weeks, and it never moved. There's
Okay.
a lot of the bad information out there actually all comes from the movie Witchboard, which is a great horror movie.
I love that movie.
Oh, I love
that's
that
a
movie.
creepy
It's so
movie.
good. I have a replica of the Witchboard board in my collection.
Oh.
Yeah.
The actress in there, I was just so in love with the actress that
And
was
the
in there.
Exorcist too. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they made up their own rules for it, and none of them really
Right.
lined up with the truth of the Ouija board.
Hollywood really,
Ruined it.
ruined.
Really messed it up.
Yeah. But
Right.
and this, you have the satanic panic of the 70s,
Oh, yeah.
80s into the 90s, and that ruined a lot, like ghost hunting, metaphysics, new age,
Spiritualism, yeah.
magic, all of that stuff. But all of it's come back around to being acceptable again,
Except
except for the Ouija board. There's still so much stigma
Yeah.
around it. Probably because it's such like
in
an
your
iconic
face.
thing
Yeah.
that Hollywood could just hold on to, and it's something you can see, and
It's a symbol.
it's a symbol, and yeah, they just
It's
won't let it.
frightening. Right.
Yeah. Well, it's not accepted because there's no bells and whistles on it. Like all the equipment coming out.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to see that light going on or hear a sound going off on a piece of equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes, and the Ouija board is it's just old school. You don't have that.
That's what we tell everyone. It's like, it's the same concept. I mean, it's no different than you sitting next to a REM pod and asking questions and it beeping.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this one's
Right.
just, you're
Yeah.
moving a piece of wood over a piece of wood. It's
Yeah. You're anytime you try to talk to the other side, you're opening up a door of communication. You're not opening up a doorway, so to speak, but you're opening that door of communication. Whether you're
Not a
going
portal,
to a cemetery,
so to speak.
Right.
Right.
So
Right.
So whether you're going to a cemetery to talk to a deceased loved one, or you're on a ghost hunt, or you're using a Ouija board, you're opening that same door of communication. The biggest difference is with the Ouija board, they can talk back. And I don't personally believe that it's super important for you to, properly close down a Ouija board session. I think saying goodbye, good night is enough, because if you are at a cemetery talking to your deceased loved one, you're probably going to say goodbye when you leave. That closes it. If you're on a ghost hunt, you thank the spirits for talking with you, you say goodnight to them, and then you leave. That's closing out that. With the Ouija board, it's
Right.
It can be as simple as thank you, good night, goodbye,
Goodbye.
whatever it is you put out there to just indicate it's done, you're over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
on the
that
Ouija
intention.
board, too. On the Ouija board, like a piece of equipment that you have, spare box, whatever you may have, you have a battery that actually operates it, and it gives you energy to work.
Mm-hmm.
Ouija board, the energy that makes it work is your
us.
energy. So
Right.
you're the batteries that are actually running the Ouija board.
Yep, absolutely.
So you're the intention. So I guess once you take your hands off, it goes off.
And
Just like
Right. Why would it move?
I made a Ouija board that you don't have to touch the planchette. The planchette actually floats on magnets. So it just sits there, and instead of moving around, it spins. So you could put your hands on the base of it, but you're not touching the part that actually moves. And it's actually sitting at the Shanley Hotel currently. I donated it to them. We've
cool.
used it a dozen times there.
I'm
It
gonna
has
see it
never
in 2
worked.
weeks.
It
Good
has
thing we're
never
going to
been-
be there in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
It is
we're
a
gonna-
Anthony and I.
try it out.
Yeah, try
we're
it
gonna
out.
see it in 2 weeks. That's cool.
We're going to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, while you're there, talk to
I
Tracy
will.
about it, because I think she usually
No
is the one
worries.
that plays with it.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
talk to
we'll
her.
ask her. She'll let us
Tracy
do it.
Lane. Let us play with the the Ouija board, that the one that like the pendulum one. You know what I'm saying?
So in that case, you're not touching it, right? Correct, but you're still giving your energy
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
You
That's
actually
the
touch the
idea.
board,
Yeah,
aren't
Okay.
you?
We've never gotten it to move for us. I don't know if Tracy or Kelly has there at the Shanley. If they did, they never told us. But to my knowledge, it's never. Like, I think the part that you're touching, or the part that moves, is the part that you need to be touching.
I got a question on that.
Hmm.
If
So you learned that.
on something like that, if you put a copper wire around the edges of that, and then you touch each four corners, wouldn't the energy go from the hand? Like if you're touching the
I have copper on it.
you have copper on. Okay.
Yep, all the way around it. So you can put your hands right on the copper, and then there's pieces of the copper that go all the way out to the magnet, holding it up
See,
to do that exact thing.
that's good minds.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
That's
hey,
true. This is
I'm a
true.
retired electrician, so I know a lot about copper and connections. Yeah. So
And I'm
What
like,
else?
why is he talking about copper?
because copper
It's not my
connection.
specialty.
Oh,
That's
hey,
why
mine
we have
either.
you, Anthony.
we
And
got to
Bill.
explain, Kim. Copper is has a connection between energy,
Right.
or
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Right, it's
what they want
conducting, right,
energy
we
to
know
go
that.
from hand to hand instead of touching hands, because all the you don't want diseases or touch anybody next to you if you don't like them. So you touch the copper and the energy goes around.
I don't like you. Touch the copper.
I don't touch me. Yeah, your hands. I was in the bathroom with you and you didn't wash them. You touched that copper over there away
Anthony.
from me.
We should have to go
Stop.
My Lord.
conversation.
I know.
So what other boards you got? Well, let's
yeah.
see some of these
Yeah,
boards.
let's-
All right. So next board up. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, so I have to have The Office.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Oh,
cool.
yeah. Yep.
Oh, I like that.
Yeesh.
So
That's great.
there's a lot of boards out there that are starting to get tied to like horror movies or icons.
Oh yeah, I seen a bunch of those. Yeah,
Yeah. So
Oh,
I got Elvira, Mistress of the Night.
Elvira.
nice.
Yeah.
I have
Mhm.
I have a Freddy Krueger AM Chaos box, so I know what you're talking about.
I
It
like
has
that.
Freddy Krueger on it.
And then there's
That's very popular.
so this one I owned this for a year before I realized what it was. So
Which boy?
No.
this is inspired by Halloween 3. So it has the three
Oh.
masks from Halloween 3.
Yes.
It's the
Shamrock.
Silver Shamrock, which is the company in Halloween 3. So this is inspired by Halloween 3.
That's
Oh,
cool.
that's so cool.
I like it.
And have you used all of the boards that you've gotten? Do you, like, when you get them, do you use them like to christen them, or do you keep them pristine?
I've only used a couple of mine.
Yeah, cool.
So some of them I like my really old ones I don't use because I don't want to risk damaging them.
Mhm.
Right.
Of course, yeah.
Some of them I get because they're a novelty thing. Like the next one I'm about to show you is very much a novelty thing.
Mhm.
It's just not one I have any interest in using.
Mm.
In the few that I have used, there's one in particular that always seems to work for me. So that's become my go-to. So when I use them, that's the one I use generally.
Mhm.
I was going to ask
Yeah.
that if you had
Yeah.
a favorite. Okay.
I do have a favorite.
Yeah.
I'm more than willing to use most of my boards. There's a couple that I won't use because supposedly things are attached to it. I've not
Yeah.
experienced anything with it that would suggest that there is, but yeah,
Why
but
take
there
a
was-
chance? Hey.
so this novelty
Yeah.
one, I highly recommend that you go on Amazon, you search for this, and you read the reviews because they're hilarious.
Okay. Oh,
This
I love
Holy
Amazon
Spirit.
reviews.
Oh,
I love
Holy
it.
Spirit board.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Goodbye,
I can't read the
Jesus.
bottom.
Does it say goodbye, Jesus in the bottom?
Yeah.
Goodbye, Jesus.
Nice.
Oh my
The reviews on
goodness.
this are on Amazon are hilarious. When I saw this in an article, I thought it was a joke.
I think we saw it on Facebook.
Yeah, I
It's
thought it
something
was a
like that.
joke.
I
I found out it wasn't. I'm like, well, this has to join the collection.
Yes.
Yeah,
The planchette
it's-
for it is a golden cross.
and I need this.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
got like a
That's
sort of
nice.
Monty Python feel to it.
Yeah,
You know what
it
I
does.
mean?
It really
Yeah,
does.
yeah, with the angels and stuff.
Yeah.
It builds
I
itself
love
with a
Amazon
direct line to
reviews.
Jesus. It
That
and
is
the directions that
fantastic.
come with this, the very last direction is something along the lines of, if anybody tells you this doesn't work, they are a sinner and not to be believed.
Really?
Yeah,
They're going to hell if they don't. Like, talk about twisted, right? People who think
Yeah.
it's evil. Now it's evil if you don't believe in it.
yeah. This
That's
board,
hilarious.
from a design standpoint, this is my favorite board.
Ah,
Oh,
that
it's cool.
1950s.
Oh, fun.
It's like Josie and the
So 50s.
Pussycats and that
Yeah.
little.
Yeah,
Look at that little devil.
yeah, it
That,
does
I
look
love
like
the
that.
fonts. I love the fonts
Yeah.
of it.
yeah.
Yes,
This
no.
is
It's like our favorite.
yeah. They only made 100
Is
of
that your
these.
favorite
Mine
too?
is number 49.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And
So,
they're
so
mine.
from a design
Cool.
perspective, this is my favorite.
What is your most valuable board in terms of monetary value?
I have a couple boards that I've paid $400 or $500 for.
Did
One
she know
of
about that?
I know.
Yeah.
Now she's looking at you like
No,
you paid
I
what?
know.
she bought one of them for me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I encourage them too much.
Yeah,
Right.
There's worse addictions
You're-
out there.
it's better than drugs.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't
Oh,
drink,
yeah.
so I do Ouija boards instead.
I
Okay.
always say that. Isn't that cute? I know. It's that. I love that.
Yeah, I have several boards that are worth several $100s, and so I don't always bring those out with me to events. When I do bigger events, I'll bring them. Small, like the event that I met you guys at, we had our smaller setup, so I didn't have some of the more expensive boards there.
Mhm.
Right.
February 1st, we'll be at the Curiosities event at the Scranton Cultural Center in Scranton, PA. It's a big, like a horror paranormal vendor fair, and we're going to have our full
Okay.
museum there. They pretty much told us, how much space do you have or do you need? I'm like, you give me space, I'll fill it. So they gave us a huge space, and it's a beautiful Masonic temple, and place is
Haunted.
awesome. Haunted, yeah, it's a cool place.
Can't beat that.
No.
Can't beat that.
Well, I mean, I'll
Do you-
say
where do
even
you-
where we went, where you said it was the small setup, it was still great. I mean, I went in
There's
there,
a
you
lot.
had great information posted. You had, I mean, over 20. I mean, I think you had 40, 30, 40?
I think you're right.
40
You have
boards
40
there?
boards.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, so what you guys got to see, that's the heart of the museum. That's the spiritualism era, the history of the board,
The
a
history,
showcase of the
great.
board, some of the boards through history, the myth and superstition, and all that. And then everything else is showing off the boards and other Ouija board related items, such as, do you want to grab the doll? So this was
Oh, a
made,
doll,
the
Anthony.
big one. So this was made for me by Mary Jo Chudley, who
Mary Jo. Yes.
Yeah. she's
Oh,
got a
really?
little side company, Twisted Dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So she made me this Ouija doll. So
Oh,
I don't know how
wow.
well you can see, but it's got
Oh,
She's
cool.
really good at this, man. I see some of the stuff she makes. She makes such great work.
That is
Yeah,
That's
amazing.
so cool.
I have
That's really neat.
I have an old fireman's axe that has a Ouija board that's been painted on it by an artist that he did that for me.
Nice.
Our guitar.
I have a Ouija board guitar.
No way.
Yeah, actually, I have it.
I love that.
These guys
And
probably saw
when
this
you
at the
go-
museum.
When you
what
go
was
to
your first
locations,
one?
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just gonna ask Tanya what her first one. Well, your first one was it a Parker Brothers one? Your first one?
Oh.
Yeah,
Look
my
at
first one was
that.
probably a Parker Brothers.
It's very cool.
We
That's
had
incredible. Can
many
you show
over
it again?
so
That is very cool.
Just show it as another second.
Yeah, so
oh
the
my
volume
goodness.
knob here is a little planchette. And you got the-
Oh, the pick of your guitar could be a planchette.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's shaped
Mhm.
like it.
It's shaped like it, yeah.
Does it play? Can
Oh,
you
yeah.
play it?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite guitars to play.
That is awesome.
That's so cool.
Shocking. Yeah.
I would like to see some more of your boards because we're gonna be running out of time. I don't want to
We
run
got
out.
like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it
two
looks
more.
like, yeah.
So I got two more sitting here that I'm ready to show here. So I showed you first the McClay Mansion board.
Yeah.
So this one is Wilson Castle.
Yes.
Last year I was up there. They were doing some renovations and gave me some wood, so I was able to make a Wilson Castle one. So it's got
That's
some of the lion,
What
the
a
eagle,
great
which
idea.
That is so cool.
place at the castle itself, and all this border around it is different images from the some of the stained glass that they have there.
yeah, beautiful stained glass there.
Mhm.
That Wilson Castle is stunning.
Oh yeah.
And then this one is the most recent one that I made, and it's one of the ones I'm most proud of. I got my hands on some of the decking from the USS New Jersey.
Oh wow,
Oh, you did not. Are you
that
kidding?
is so cool.
So
Look
we
at
got
that
all
wood.
of its awards, its patch, the USS New Jersey itself, and then one of its challenge coins embedded right into
I
the board.
love it.
Oh
I
wow.
love it.
Wow.
Well done.
So I'm
Well
currently
And
attempting to
dismissed
get
at the bottom. Is it say
Dismissed.
dismissed.
It's
Yeah.
like dismissed.
I'm currently
Love that.
attempting to get wood from. So the USS New Jersey is an Iowa class battleship. There was only 4 Iowa class battleships made, and I'm trying to get wood from the other 3 so I could get a collection of all 4 of them from the Iowa class battleships.
That's awesome. How hard do you think that's going to
how
be?
creative?
Yeah, it really is.
So whenever
I
all
love
these
it.
Iowa class battleships are museums, and every so often they get
They
moved to
renovate.
port to be kind of refinished and brought up to and kind of cleaned up and whatnot. And they'll usually replace some of the decking at that time. And when they do that, they usually sell the decking as kind of a fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
I
nice.
just got to keep an eye out for when they do that and then jump on it and get some of the wood.
Okay, so not impossible. You're not in
No.
scuba gear underneath it, like with a hammer. Like
Scraping off some wood.
Like you got to know the people doing the job, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Hey,
I
listen.
Hey,
know
I got a guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
do.
have a few people that are helping me kind of keep an eye out to.
Mhm.
So if anybody's
That's-
watching and happens to know when that stuff goes up for sale, let me know.
The four,
You hear that,
the other
audience?
3.
Anybody in the audience knows anything? Share it.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
Or has wood that they would want to have you make a piece for them.
Ooh.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have, a haunted location or a location that's meaningful to you and you want a board made from wood from that place, let me know. For those kind of things, I only really have one request, and that you give me enough wood to make 2. One stays in my museum as part of my collection, and the other one goes back
Oh,
to
I
you.
love it. I love
That's
it.
so cool. That's so cool.
That's a fair request.
Mhm.
Definitely.
So let's see some more
What's-
boards.
I think that was that your last one?
No, I
Or
got
one more?
one last one that I have readily
Right.
available.
Okay, good.
So this is a reproduction. This is not an original, but this is so Mitchie Manitoa. He made Ouija boards back in the 1920s. William Fold, when he was making boards, was very, very litigious. Anybody who made a board that was anywhere close to his Ouija board, he would sue them until they couldn't do it anymore. He died in 1926. He actually fell off one of his factories, which, according to legend, was predicted by a Ouija board. I don't know if that's true, but that's the legend that goes with it.
What?
But wouldn't it be cool? Yeah.
It
Yeah.
would.
But his kids
Yeah.
took over the business and ran it until Parker Brothers bought the rights to it. They were not litigious, so they didn't care. So there was a huge uptick in different Ouija board designs in the 1920s, and this was one of those designs. This is one of my favorite designs.
That's
It's
stunning.
from authentic.
Yeah, I really like
historical
it.
Ouija board.
Yeah, that's like a standard design. I've
So
never seen stuff like that. Yeah.
I would really like to get an original one. Like I said, this is a reproduction. Originals go for about $800-900 on the low end.
Ooh.
So I have not gotten my hands on one of this yet.
Wow. Yeah, I saw actually. Before you came on the show, I looked up
Yeah,
on
they're
eBay
cool
some
doll.
boards just to get familiar with some of them, and I
Mhm.
saw one, a William Fold. That's how you say it, right?
Yeah.
Fold. One was like $1,000, like $1,100. Yeah,
Yeah.
from the
Wow.
20s. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
but you know,
one
then
of the-
again, we drop a lot of money on this stuff, don't we?
Well,
We
Yeah.
live is sleeping, so it's fine.
one of the interesting things that William Fold did
It's like,
was because so many people wanted to make a board, especially a cheaper, more affordable board. He ended up making a board called the Mystifying Oracle. It used the exact
Oh,
same
okay.
artwork on the exact same wood. The only difference was instead of saying Ouija, it said Mystifying Oracle, and he sold it for half the cost. So he had a monopoly on the expensive version and the cheap version. And then
Oh,
eventually,
genius.
in the late 1930s, early 1940s, he just decided to combine the two, and from that point on, it became known as the Ouija Mystifying Oracle. So if you look on
Right.
any board from the 1940s onward, it's Ouija Mystifying Oracle, and that's the
Mystifying
reason why they had
Oracle.
Mystifying Oracle.
That's awesome. Has anybody
So
like
what?
donated any of the boards that they had in the past, old boards,
Oh yeah,
for the museum, just to, to show in the museum?
not to. Well, yeah, I've had a couple people either donate boards that they had or went out and bought me a board because they saw it at an antique store and bought it and gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
One of your
Nice.
first donations was my daughter's. The
Yeah.
board.
Yeah, so I started
Oh,
hanging
okay.
up the boards here in my living room, and her daughter found her old pink board, and it was kind of damaged and very, very girly. And she's like, "Well, you have to hang it up with the others." All right. So I hung it up, and then I
What a
learned
sport.
how valuable.
Honorary.
Oh,
if you
really? It was
have-
valuable.
If you have one of the pink Ouija boards, they only made it for a single year, 2008. If they're in good condition with all of the like the planchette,
and it
the
comes
box,
with cards.
the cards, like all the stuff that came with it, hundreds of dollars, like $600-700 for all of it.
Wow.
Hers was really loved, so hers was not in good condition.
Yeah.
Right. Like
But we did
the
find one.
Barbie
We did
Ouija
find
board. Pink one. Barbie.
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember
I'm sure
those.
there is.
Have one?
You know what?
Hold on
I
to it.
remember
I
those.
wouldn't
The Toys R Us
I
was
wouldn't be
selling them.
surprised.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I used to, go buy my kids gifts for, holidays and stuff, birthdays. And I remember seeing it, and I made comments. I'm like, pink Ouija board. And I'm like, where's the Barbie on it? It's like Barbie Ouija board and G.I. Joe, whatever. But I was like, I remember seeing those.
Mhm.
I remember making
Yeah.
a comment on it. That's
It's
wild.
not surprising. What is your both of you? What would be your ultimate get of a board? Like, what would be? Is there one that you just really want to own?
An ultimate get for me would be an 1891,
Yeah.
the very first year
One
that
of
they
the
were
first
produced.
ones, yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's
Thousands
gotta
of
be
dollars.
very valuable.
Yeah,
Those.
Thousands, yeah.
Have you
It's
seen any
very
of
rare
those?
that they pop up for sale, and when they do, they're thousands of dollars.
Have you seen any of those?
Oh, yeah.
In
personally? Yeah.
person, you've seen them in
Yeah.
person.
So
Yeah.
there's another traveling Ouija board. Jeff's traveling board.
Yeah, I know
Jeff's
Jeff, too.
traveling Museum of Wonders.
Mhm.
He's a good friend of mine. He's one of the inspirations for my museum, and
Huh.
he has one, and so I've
Yeah.
got to see it, and I'm so jealous.
Mhm.
In fact, the last time I saw him, he was at a show. He was at a con, and I went there to visit just to see him. And while I was there, I ended up buying 2 boards.
Yeah.
Well, I bought one. She
Yeah.
bought one.
And Jeff, that's interesting. We were at Gettysburg 2 years ago, and I heard a tornado touched.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was actually the year I met him. Was
Is
at,
it?
at the bash there.
Well, you were there
At
too. I was
Gettysburg?
there because we were outside and everything got blown and came down the deck and blew everything around. his stuff were flying up in the air.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Yeah.
it was crazy, and it was all over. And
Oh my gosh.
it was a crazy moment.
That's
You know,
terrifying.
yeah, it knocked over my beer.
Oh, that's worse.
Knocked over my beer, took my chair and my cigar. Everybody, they were grabbing to bring me back inside, and it came right down the deck, took everything. It was like crazy. I never seen anything like that. Coming from New York, we don't get those sprees, they call them, whatever. You know, so that
Anthony
was
was like up in the air in a spiral. You know?
a house almost
Yeah.
hit me as I was staying there. It was crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good thing you're not the Wicked Witch.
How many?
Yeah,
I
all
was
green.
just
Yes.
gonna say that. I was like, and then he landed and his feet curled up.
Yeah, exactly. The house landed on him.
My red slippers would be gone, and Kim would be wearing them.
And I'd be
Oh,
wearing them.
You'd be wearing my click them to go home.
no.
So
We want
do
you
you
to
guys
stay.
bring any of these on location? Like when you investigate, do you use these typically, or are they just more collectible?
Sometimes it depends on where we're going. So there's some
Mm.
locations that don't want Ouija boards used there.
Yeah.
And
I've
if
seen
that's
that.
the case,
Like no Ouija boards allowed. I'm like,
And we
like
respect that. We respect it.
I
in
use
Pennsylvania, the one in Norristown.
Selma
Selma.
Mansion.
Selma Mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
Selma, yeah.
if they don't allow it, we respect that. We won't bring one. If they do allow it,
Right.
then
The
we are
traveling kit.
happy to do it.
We bring a traveling kit that he made.
Yeah,
That's
I
interesting.
made a little wooden box that it's
Portable.
It's my seance box. So it has my Gansfield experiment, dowsing rods, a
Nice.
Ouija board, some LED candles, a scrying mirror, pendulum, just you name it, it's in there.
That's awesome.
You
How
should
many do
market
you have
that.
altogether?
No,
Yeah, really?
that
A
together.
kit.
That's cool.
You should.
kit.
I would buy that.
It's on my list of things to do is to market that out.
Oh.
I just haven't yet. It's
Sure. I mean,
Yeah,
not
like
to put
time,
more,
right?
more
I
on
like
your,
everything
your
else.
plate, but yeah, that I would buy that too.
Tanya likes
actually.
to tell me that I put too much
Yeah,
on my
so would
plate.
And
I.
then I add more to it.
Yeah, I'm finally starting to agree with her that I might have a little too much on my plate. I need to.
I have a personal question, and
Okay.
and you can say I don't want to answer it. It's a personal question for you too. You two are engaged?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Will you be incorporating a Ouija board into your wedding?
Probably not. We're saving that for our funerals.
Okay.
Hand them out to
Okay.
people at the funerals with the little note
Well, I
that
didn't
says
know if
"Stand."
you'd have like favors or something, like little planchettes for favors
Yeah.
or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it'd be like
we're
we
not
didn't
doing
like
that.
her.
We're
They just leave us at-
You're not that into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
we've both been married
We've been
before.
married before. We're not doing.
So yeah,
Okay.
our wedding could
I didn't
be.
want to ask you something too personal, but I
Oh,
just
no,
thought,
that's fine.
okay, would you?
Okay.
Well, congratulations, by the way,
Thank you.
on your engagement.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're
congratulations.
coming towards
That's
the end of the
funny.
show. So, do you guys have anything you want to promote before,
Where,
Yeah,
you're going to be in February.
Yeah, so
The first week of February.
February 1st, we'll be at the Scranton Cultural Center in Scranton. We'll be part of a bigger
Okay.
vendor event that has a lot of like paranormal and horror related vendors. John Zaffis will be there. A couple guys from the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Association will be there. So it's going to be a bigger event. And then, of course, our museum will be there. Then the following weekend, February 8th, we'll be at the Osterhout Library. So from 9 o'clock till 9 o'clock or 9:30, I forget when it starts, until 3:30, we'll have the museum set up in the library, open to the public for free. And then we're doing a lecture and demonstration that evening. Cost for that is $10. We have, I believe, 21 tickets left, if my math is correct.
Okay.
If anybody's interested in going to that, you could find the link to our tickets on our Facebook page. Just find us under Empty Casket Paranormal. You could also follow us on Instagram or YouTube under Empty Casket Paranormal. Then we have our website, our primary website, which is emptycasketparanormal.com. That's where we have our shop where you can buy equipment or some of the boards that I have available. And we have our ectalkingboardmuseum.com. which is our virtual museum. It has pictures of about 95% of my boards. I have a few that still need to go up. It has some history on the board itself. And I'm working on a myth and superstition section for that. So, go check
EC Paranormal. I'm putting it in the chart. EC
Talking Board Museum.
EC Talking Board. Right. Okay. Thanks.
Yep. So yeah, if you're interested, anybody's interested in some either custom equipment or some of the equipment I make,
I'm gonna be in things here.
you can get that through emptycasketparanormal.com. Although I am in the process of switching our store over to a different server. So if that's down, just send me a message and we'll work something out.
Okay.
And then some of our bigger events for the year will be at the Para United event out near Pittsburgh, PA in August. That we'll have a smaller version of our museum. We'll be at the main Paracon, which is actually being hosted by Jeff and his board museum. We won't have our museum there. We'll have more of the equipment that we make. And then in October, we'll be at the Rock Island Paracon out in Rock Island, Indiana. And that will be, we're going to have a whole room to ourselves, full museum, everything we have. I'll be doing a lecture there, as well as there's a ghost hunt that night, and we'll be doing Ouija board sessions as part of that ghost hunt.
That's cool.
You can find all that information on our Facebook page. We have a pinned post that we keep updated with all of our events.
That's
Awesome.
awesome.
You are busy during the year.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's not even counting the Get Haunted events that we do for them, which if anybody wants to do McClay Mansion, follow Get Haunted. We usually do 3 or 4 McClay Mansion events every year, so as well as many other events around the country.
Mhm.
So
Very cool.
That's very cool. Yes.
So
Yeah.
we were talking before, we have a few minutes. So we were talking about having you back on the show for a reason. Kim, you want to talk about your reason?
Yeah, because I think it would be so cool to do a live Ouija board on our show. And
Yes.
if you guys would be open to doing that, I think that'd be super cool.
Oh, yeah.
absolutely,
Definitely.
that'd be a lot of fun.
That
Yeah.
would be absolutely wonderful. We could just do a live session on the Ouija board. Now, how do you work that? Like we're not touching it.
So I
You're
guess
just using your
we-
intention.
We would have to do it.
we'd be touching it.
You would
So,
do it.
so we
Yeah.
would be,
And we'd
but-
have to have like an overhead camera.
yeah. But you guys
Right.
and the
Sending
people there in the
vibes.
chat could ask questions. And if we're going to do that, what I would suggest to both to the 3 of you and to anybody watching, if you're going to come join that, have your own paranormal equipment going on. Do an EVP session while we're doing it. Use dowsing rods and
Cat
pendulums.
balls, yeah.
Cat
We've
balls.
done that before, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. First.
And see if,
Oh,
if
cool.
you get doing that
Yes.
matches up with what we get with the Ouija board. I think that could be a really fun experiment.
Melissa.
I think that'd be
I
very
know.
cool.
I agree.
Because
Everybody's
you're not
into
coming
it.
only from, Pennsylvania, coming Jersey, and we're
Yeah.
up in New York, and we got people from
Melissa's in
Texas
Kansas.
and California
Yeah,
and our
Texas,
chat, and
you name it.
we got it from everywhere.
Texas.
So that'd
Yeah.
be wild, from all these different locations coming together to do a Ouija board session
Yeah.
on the air.
I'm
Yeah,
loving
I
this.
think that could be a really fun experiment.
Like,
Yeah,
we need to
very
schedule
cool.
this.
Definitely.
Definitely. So yeah, we got
More to come, later date.
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Stay tuned.
So we're gonna have a second show with
Yeah,
you guys.
part 2.
The Empty Casket Part 2, and we're going to actually do a live Ouija board. I got some dates in March, so maybe we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
When you're not
Um,
busy, yeah. Which is never.
I know. You got to get them when they're not busy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Plus your everyday jobs, right? Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Actually, I had to book
Yeah.
him out on my own
Yeah.
to help me with fix up the house.
Yeah.
I just talked to him tonight about that. Like, I need just for some dates.
Oh, yeah.
Cleared.
Well, we will give you some dates, let us know.
yeah.
But
yeah, cool. So
give it some thought too,
okay, we are coming to the end of the
Gotta
show
go.
now.
Yeah.
So we're going to thank you guys for being on the show.
Oh, thank you.
Very
It was
much.
awesome
Thank
having
you.
you. The boards were great. Everything, the location, we
What a
had a
fun
great
show.
show.
Yeah.
Kim was right on the money
Knowledge.
again.
Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you, Kim. She's awesome.
Kim,
Kim.
once
Yeah,
again,
Okay.
So
Kim.
yeah. So yeah, I want to thank
She's like, stop.
in the audience. We have some great followers, and I had a great time tonight. I hope you guys
Me
did too.
too. Me too.
Oh,
definitely.
Thanks
thank
everybody
you.
for joining
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, the 2 hours went by. Matter of fact, it's time. So I want to say good night to everybody in the audience. Good night to our fantastic guest. And I also want to say that you want to, people are already writing, you want to be safe out there when you go on investigation. Just be safe in investigation because you want to look for ghosts. You don't want to be a ghost. I'm going to say, forget about it. Hey.
Good night.